Hey friend, welcome to the first ever episode of the So She Grows podcast. Formerly, It Takes a Village podcast, but we have rebranded because It Takes a Village has been with you throughout motherhood for the past few years, and we know you're ready for this growth, for this new chapter, because it has been a journey, and we have brought you all the resources you need. But we are ready to rip off the Band-Aid. I'm ready to rip off the Band-Aid, and I know you guys are ready too, so let's do this. Hey friend, welcome to the So She Grows podcast. This show is for you if you're ready for the change, you're tired of excuses, and you're so sick of hearing the limiting excuses inside of your mind. You're ready to break through and you're ready to break free. Are you ready to finally grow? Do you want to elevate your mindset, motherhood, and marriage? If so, I am here for you and you are going to do the work. I will give you every tool and trick to blast through excuses and limiting beliefs, but you're gonna have to show up for yourself. In this show, you will find non-fluffy, in-your-face direct coaching to transform your life. Let's get it. So today we're talking about self-fulfillment and why it's so important, what it is, and how to achieve it. First off, self-fulfillment sounds like this woo-woo word, kind of like self-care, where it's just kind of out there and it just seems overused, unimportant, and just inconvenient, to be honest. As a mom, self-fulfillment, self-care, those things are just on the back burner because who has time? If you hear the noise in the background, it's because I literally am trying to squeeze in time to make this episode, even with little ones, and you want to be present and all the things to do. It's hard to put yourself first, but it's super important. And so that is why this is the first episode, because this is the basis of So She Grows, is you have to start on the inside. And that is my approach, holistic. Let's get to the root. Let's find out what's really going on. Let's cut the crap so we can actually heal, get better, do better, be better, feel better. So the definition of self-fulfillment is the ability to make yourself happy and complete through your own efforts. And that's tough, y'all, because through your own efforts is key. When we put our happiness in the hands of somebody else other than Jesus, it falls flat. Nobody can maintain your happiness for you. It has to come within. And that's a struggle for a lot of us because of a lot of trauma, a lot of baggage, a lot of background issues that we had growing up, heartache, pain, experiences. Those all keep us from having our own self-fulfillment and putting our happiness and our confidence, our self-esteem in the hands of other people, which is super dangerous in a world that we're in that revolves around social media. So let's get to it. Self-fulfillment, I believe, has 4 pillars that need to be in a good place, growing, or they aren't stagnant. So that's spiritually, mentally, physically, and maritally. Those 4 things, if they're in a good place, if they're growing, and they're not at a standstill, you're in the good, you're in the clear, you're in the green, you're doing something right, and you should probably keep on going. Spiritually, if you are lacking in a relationship with God or whatever it is that you define as your spirituality, you're not connected, you're not thriving in that area. When we rely on ourselves as the center of our universe, oh my gosh. I mean, you can see the news right now, lots of articles. You can see what happens when we're selfish, when we're self-centered, and when we have no guidance, no thing that is driving our soul or purpose on this earth. For me personally, that's God. So if I am not talking to him, praying, I don't feel like my prayer life is healthy. I don't feel like I'm getting into the word. I don't feel like I am being poured into, because this is such a core foundation of who most of us are. Our spirituality is at the core of us. If you notice that it's not in a healthy place, it's not in a good place, or if you just take a step back and realize that, because most of the time we're so busy that time flies by. We haven't realized we haven't been to church. We haven't prayed. We haven't connected with our spirituality. We haven't practiced whatever it is that we practice. then you could be like, whoa, like I didn't even realize that time went by and this was going on. Now it makes sense why I feel so disconnected in this area or that area, or I'm lacking in purpose, or I'm lacking in ambition, or I just feel kind of empty, lost, those feelings that I'm sure some of you guys can relate to right now. If your spirituality is not stable, if your relationship with God is not stable, if your relationship with whatever it is that you practice is not stable, because that is the core foundation of who most of us are, then we need to make that change. So let this be your wake up call. If this pillar of your self-fulfillment is fragile, if it is frail, and if you could see somebody bumping into it and it just coming in down and crumbles, then let's do something today. Let's look at what it is that we haven't been doing lately, maybe how we can fit it back in and how we can fix. The next pillar we need to check on is if we are in a mentally good place, or we are mentally growing and we are not stagnant. This is such a touchy topic because there's so much to unpack in it. And I'm not going to go through that today. I want to say that when you're in a good place, right? Like I think we can tell, especially if we take a moment, we're listening to this podcast, maybe we put it on pause, we pull over the car and just sit, or when we get into a parking lot, we sit, or if we get to a stopping point in the house, we just stand and we think, have I been stressed? Have I been overly anxious? Have I been overly overwhelmed? Have I not been able to think clearly? Have I been emotionally up and down at the drop of a hat? Have I been quick to anger? Have I felt just tired, lethargic, don't really want to talk to anybody, don't really want to go out? Have I felt removed from my relationship with my spouse? Have I felt removed from my relationship with my kids? Have I felt like just lonely? Have I felt, fill in the blank right now, guys. There are so many emotions that we can feel. And if we just take a moment to pause, reflect inside, and that sounds so cheesy, but really just take a moment, close your eyes, stop for a second, and really become aware of what we've been doing lately and check in with yourself to see if something's off. Again, it's one of those mom things where we get too busy to realize that we've come into this spiral that we're now stuck in that has become the new normal, and we don't realize that this new normal is not normal, and it shouldn't be normal, and we shouldn't settle for this normal because it's not healthy, it's not good, and we cannot serve those that we're trying to put first, right? Like, I feel like this is the vicious cycle that moms are in. We put everybody first, so we put us on the back burner, thinking that we're serving, we're pouring, we're giving to this thing that we so love dearly, which is our kids, our family. We want them to thrive. But in not thriving ourselves, we can't show up for our kids or our husband or our families or our jobs or the things that we love at 100%. And so therefore, we're not really showing up for them that well because we're not being able to at the best of our ability. So do you see this vicious cycle? So let's look at our mental wellness right now. Let's really think, what is it that I need? Am I stressed out? Is it because I'm not giving myself enough downtime? Is it because I'm not giving myself enough me time or, time with my friends or whatever it is that you need to fill yourself up, to pour back into yourself? Let this be the moment that you realize and acknowledge that something has to change, and then let's freaking make that change. Don't just sit here and think, wow, I really am stressed, and then continue going on with the same, routine that you're going through, because that's not going to work, guys. And we all see what happens when it gets ugly, when things go unaddressed, when it gets worse, and other people suffer. We suffer at the death of our own decisions, right? So not only do we need to look and become aware of where we are at mentally, how healthy our mental wellness is right now, but then we need to look at if something is off, if something is wrong, we're not at our norm, we're not at our best. What is it at its core that is causing this feeling that we're having, that is causing this disconnectment, this loneliness, this isolation feeling, this, foggy brain feeling, whatever it is, and acknowledge that something's not right, that this does not have to be your normal. Take the medications that you need to be taking. Put that first. See the doctor that you need to see to get the medications that you need to get. But not only that, let's holistically solve the problem. Don't just take the pill hoping that it solves your family issues that are truly at the core of your anxiety. Don't just take the pill because you're stressed out and you can't bring yourself to talk to your husband that you need help around the house, that you're overwhelmed, that you're burnt out, that you're at its end. Like, no, like we need to have these conversations because the pill cannot heal the healing that needs to be done for us to be mentally well. So have these conversations. Again, take a moment to look inside, to figure out where you're at, what needs to be done, and let's look at the core. Let's not ignore the issue and let's get to work. The next pillar, I got really intense there, right, guys? I mean, I told you in this description, this is still the same me, and I feel like let's just let it fly now, right? You guys got a piece of me, and it takes a village where I was like kind of around the edges of this, like, hey guys, like I'm like that friend who's kind of nudging you, like you should do this, like, no pressure. But now I'm like, no, let's get it. You have no choice. No, you have a choice, but like at what cost, guys? So let's keep going. The next pillar is physically. I don't mean this as in like you should totally lose that 20 pounds and you'll feel 100% better. No, because if you have a bad mentality about what body image is like, you can't love yourself despite what size you are, then you can lose 20 pounds and still feel ugly. You can lose 20 pounds and still be unhealthy. You can still lose 20 pounds and look the same, to be honest, right? Because all these things go deeper than that. It's not about just what you eat. It's about how you feel about yourself, how your body moves and you appreciate its movement. You can be postpartum 6 weeks and 30 pounds overweight and be in a good place physically because you just birthed a child. You should be where you're at. You should love your body where it's at. I know I need to do that. This is probably one of the things that I struggle with the most is appreciating my body, not comparing it to others. And one of the things that I've seen people practice and heard that out of all of its awkwardness, it can bring tremendous healing is looking at yourself naked in the mirror. If you're already cringing, that's okay. But maybe that's a signal that, hey, I need to get comfortable with myself again. Where was that girl who could totally, do this or that? And she was totally confident. Like, that is not lost on us, guys. We are still there. It's that we forgot, or we let social media and all the words and all this, noise in our ears convince us that now we're something less. And that's so not true. If anything, we're so much more because of what our bodies have been through. It's amazing what we can do. So not only loving your body outwardly, but also inwardly, treating your body as a temple, taking care of it. Because again, it's one of those things where we think we're putting everybody first, and we want to because we love everybody. We want to serve everybody. A lot of the times it's our, inner driven purpose that is, taking our kids from A to B, and we're putting all these things, and we're giving our everything to our job and everything to, XYZ. But on the way there, we're grabbing fast food. From here to there, we're eating the, handful of candy instead of sitting down and eating lunch. We're cooking meals for our whole family, but we can't bother to sit down at the table because we feel like we have so much other things to do. You guys, that is not serving your family because that's at the detriment of your health. Think about where that's going to put you in 10 years, in 20 years, even in 5 years if you don't take care of your body. You're going to end up in the hospital. You're going to be sick. You're going to have to take more. Oh my gosh. You guys, I'm sorry for all the noise. This is how we are coping with little ones at home. At least he's not crying. But what I'm saying is if you don't put in the work now, 1, you're not going to feel good. 2, your family is going to be the one who now has to take care of you. So the exact opposite of what you're probably trying to achieve this whole entire time is that You want to take care of them and you want them to thrive, but yet if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to end up in a bad place. Or it's going to affect your other pillars that need to be strengthened instead of weakened even more. Mentally, how you take care of your body directly impacts our mental well-being, because it is scientifically proven that within the foods that we eat, from the vitamins, the nutrients, the exercise that we do, the chemicals that are made, we are happier. We feel better from the inside out. If we take care of our insides, we outwardly function better and feel happier. So let's be active participants in our health, in our wellness, because we deserve it. We've birthed children. We've adopted children. We've managed finances. We've managed households. We're caring for family members. We're nurturing relationships. We're building marriages. All these things are great things that require us at our best. We enjoy life at its best when we take care of ourselves. And one of the things that really irks me, and I'm sorry if you're one of these people, is when somebody tells me, oh, I have to go to the doctor because, this and this is going on. And it's because I'm not eating. And it's because I know it's because I'm not sleeping. But, and that's it. And I'm like, really? So you know what's going on. You're putting yourself in this position. And what do you think your doctor can do? He can't help you sleep more besides giving you a pill. But really, is that going to help you or solve the problem if you're legitimately not sleeping? Like you're staying up and you get a sleeping pill, but you're still not actively trying to change your sleep schedule, your sleep pattern, and help the root cause. Something's not right there. So let's get serious. Let's take care of our body. Let's take care of our health, because you're examples for your children now, and you want to be present. You want to be there for your grandchildren or your families later. So let's put in the work and let's do this. Woo, y'all, do you feel a difference in this episode already? I feel like I'm probably going to lose about 100 of you guys or be like, yeah, she's intense. I'm out. And I am intense about the things that I feel extremely passionate about. But those who know me, and hopefully I want that to be my listeners, you guys, is that even though I'm intense, my heart comes from a good place. I'm considering all the situations, all the feelings, all the nuances, and I can't get into that in an episode because I'd be here for hours, you guys. So just know and see and hear every episode through the lens that I am coming from a good place. I am taking into consideration different situations that are specific to you, and I hope that you know that I'm acknowledging that, but there still is work to be done. Hands down, you can't avoid it. We have to get to the root cause. Because I want that for you guys. I want that. I want it for myself. I am fighting for that for myself every day. And I want you to do that too, because I can't fight it for you. I've tried. Believe me. I've tried fighting that fight for my friends, for the people that I love that come to me with problems. And I can't do it. It just doesn't happen because I've tried. And I physically cannot make you love yourself. I cannot physically make you take care of yourself. I can buy you the salad, but I can't handle what you're doing on the other, 364 days a year. So you have to do it for you because you matter. Okay. Gosh. The last pillar that I believe is important, especially if you're married and and you got little ones, man. See, this is me trying to do my life with my little ones. And this is something that I'm passionate about and I'm still making happen, even though I need to find some quieter toys because you guys are definitely hearing him play in the background. But one of the things that can go to the wayside, especially when we have littles, is our marriages, our relationships, you guys. And I wish you guys could totally see the behind the scenes right now, but I literally have no extra hands to film what is going on and what it looks like to be recording a podcast with a 9-month-old. And who is now crawling and all over the place. So anyways, our marriages are super important to our self-fulfillment. Not to be mistaken with. Now, let's remember that self-fulfillment is defined as the ability to make yourself happy and complete through your own efforts. But that doesn't mean that we're relying on our self-fulfillment through our spouse. Because like I said at the very beginning, we cannot put our happiness in the hands of somebody else. Yes, can our spouse make us happy? Yes, because they love us, because they show up for us, because they bring us flowers sometimes, they do nice things. We feel loved, we feel appreciated. But our happiness and well-being should not be solely placed in the hands of another person other than God, in my opinion. We as human beings are wired for connection. We crave it, we need it, we want it to thrive, to survive, right? But if they're not in a healthy place, they do damage. Even relationships that aren't in our lives anymore have done damage, and we've seen what that's done. So you cannot live in toxic relationships, in relationships that aren't growing, aren't thriving, because that's not a good place to be in. If you know that your marriage is suffering, get the help that you need. Don't stand by and wait till your kids, let's address this, like when life's less busy. Ugh, when is life freaking less busy? I don't know. Have you gotten there yet? No, I haven't either. So take care of it. Do it now, because if you wait, it's going to be too late. Just like I've hit on any other of these pillars, that we need to go deep. We need to get to the root cause, because if we are in our marriages and maybe let's say we're not talking to each other, well, let's look at why we aren't talking to each other. Let's look at why it is that we got to this place. What did I do, or is it how I feel? Is it because of something that got said a long time ago? Like, is it a conversation we're not having? Is it my self-esteem? Like what? And then why is my self-esteem there? Like, let's go deeper and let's ask us, okay, well, why is it that then? And how does that make me feel? And why do I feel that way? Like, let's not stop asking the questions so we can truly find real wellness and healing and find ourselves in a good place of growth and self-fulfillment. Okay, so why does all of this matter? Why have I spent 20 minutes of your life very passionately, I will call it passion, very passionately talking to you about this? And it's because I believe the same reason that the authors of Leading with the Soul had said, they said, when you know what fulfills you, you are able to give your gifts in a way that also gives back to you. Like, how powerful and awesome does that sound? Like, that's exactly what I've been trying to explain. They just said it in like one sentence so much better than I did in the last 20 minutes. So I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. And your quality of life improves when all of those pieces fit together and you feel fulfilled. And again, fulfillment is like a fluffy word, but it's that attainment of satisfying and worthwhile lived life. Doesn't that sound so good? Sounds so good to me. Like just visualizing that in my head, and I want you to visualize it. I want you to want it, and I want you to get it. And I want you to feel like it's attainable, because it totally is. Your quality of life improves. You feel so much better. You're happy. You're peaceful. You find that peace. And it looks different for everybody, right? Our self-fulfillment looks different depending on what our priorities are and what is important to us for our lives. Okay. So we have those 4 pillars: spirituality, mentally, physically, maritally. Now let's take this time, now that this episode is over, and look and see where we need to make improvements. Journal it, write it down. Ask yourself why. Why do I feel like my marriage needs to improve in connecting? Is it because we don't spend enough time together? Okay. Then under that, ask yourself, why do we not spend enough time together? Because we're busy. Okay. But what does busy look like? Like, what in the busyness is keeping us from it? Well, money. Okay. So can we have date nights at home? How can we connect without the money? How can we connect without the time? Well, we can have date nights at home. We can have a friend babysit when there's a holiday and family members are all together anyways. We could plan ahead and sneak away for 30 minutes. If you really do that to every single situation, you're going to find that you have a solution. It's just that we haven't taken the time to look for it or to invest in the solution. But it's worth it, you guys. It's so worth it. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed the first episode of So She Grows. It was intense, but I love you, and that's why I do it. Because I'm listening to this and I'm like, this is what I need to do for my own self. So you're not alone. This isn't, me telling you and speaking at you. This is like, let's do this together. Let's do the work, because it's worth it. We deserve it. And we're missing out on so much if we don't. All right. So that is enough for episode 1 of the So She Grows podcast, y'all. I'm so happy that you're here, and I can't wait to catch you next time. Let's keep on getting it. Bye, guys. If If you found this episode helpful in any way, please share it to other mamas who you know can benefit from the same message that I feel so passionately about, because I feel like it's going to make a difference in so many women's lives. I don't want them to miss out. So share it, tweet it, bleep it, whatever the it's are. Gosh, I sound so old. Share it out. Do all the things. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. I love you. Thanks.